I have sort of a generalized question that I feel like Lena feels reluctant to learn in some ways. I feel like it's probably partly coming from me, but I think I've made mistakes with her as a puppy that are now showing up in her almost seeming suspicious of me when I try to lure her to do something. It's almost like she thinks I'm going to try to grab her or snatch her up or something like that. So I feel like I need to help kind of rebuild trust around the training.
Sure.
I don't know if that's relevant to other people or if that's something that could be spoken to, but that's something I've been thinking about.
I think it is a good thing to talk about. Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, obviously building, and Sharon, if you want to jump in at any point, please feel free. But building trust and like relationship building is a really important part of having a dog who's in some sort of career goal role, even if it doesn't feel directly related to them learning particular skills. We want a dog who is excited about working. And sometimes if they're seeming more reluctant, there's a couple things that could be going wrong. The first is that it could be that we're trying to work them too hard or for too long. So it could be that our training sessions, we're trying to go too long with them. I always want to stop when the dog is still seeming engaged and having fun, instead of waiting until, obviously, if I see them saying, my brain's falling out, it's turned to mush, I can't anymore, then I want to stop, but I try to stop before that. Another thing is I encourage people to take some of the pressure off themselves, to try to take a deep breath and say, you know what, we're working on it. Like I've said in past classes, it's about progress, not perfection. If that means that we get just a little bit closer to our goal today, or we just practice at the level we were at, that's okay. We want to work with the dog that shows up, train the dog that shows up that day, that moment. And yeah, I would say that another thing that can go wrong is that we, along the lines of that progress, not perfection, and train the dog that shows up, we want to try and have the rate of reinforcement, meaning how often I'm giving treats in a given amount of time, looking for something that is looking to give treats for small enough improvements and small enough choices that my dog stays engaged and doesn't become frustrated or discouraged. That can be extremely important. So I want to always try and set my dog up for success and reward that success enough, however incremental it is. Reward that success enough that they stay engaged and feel excited about trying to earn more. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then some less common things. Gabrielle, I'm not sure if Lena, do you think that, so there are some less common things like maybe I'm accidentally holding the clicker way too close to their ear during some activities, and so it's loud and uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. It could be that I'm getting frustrated about how to do the training activities and they're feeding off of me being frustrated. Mm-hmm. Do you have an idea of what's going on? I'll just spend another minute or two on this, but
yeah, no, I think my sense is, I mean, we have a lot of trust in terms of our relationship. I think she's incredibly loving. I think it's when I ask her to do something specific, and especially if I don't have a treat right there, and then if I do, the focus is all on the treat.
Got it.
And then, but I think it's really this early, like when she was tiny, I would kind of lure her to kind of scoop her up to take her out. And now she's just like, if I try to get her too close, she kind of gets squirrely. So I think that's what the trigger is. I finally got her to do touch, like right up against my leg. She'll just lick my hand. She won't bop it. But that's, again, that's close enough. So I think that's part of it. It's just like, she wants it to be on her terms. And I don't know. That's just my guess. I don't know. I'll pay attention to the clicker because she is sensitive to sound. So I'll make sure that I'm not putting
if
that.
you see any sort of like her, she's crouching more, she tucks her tail, or she, puts her ears back, or kind of flinches when you click, we might want to switch to a verbal marker for her.
Okay.
So using yes or good, something that's one syllable that always means a treat when you say it in that way, just like the clicker does. I have some clients who will use yup, because that's not something they say without thinking in other circumstances. But yeah, that is a really important question. We'll when we work on nose targeting, I'll try and help you with some other tactics as well. But great question.